Meanwhile, down below, just having defeated the monstrous creature, Leon and Usagi took this moment to catch their breath, or rather catch his breath. What the hell was that thing? Some kind of mutant? Leon breathlessly asked, pushing the memory of his mother back in his mind for now. Who knows what that was? From what I was able to see, I think he was the guy once, but whatever turned the city into a nightmare, he got caught up in it too. Poor man. And whoever he was, Usagi replied, with sympathetically at the end. Leon paused, then changed his mind about saying something. He then took a moment to consider what to do now, when a sound from above caught his ears. Nearby, he spotted a ladder mysteriously drop down, with seemingly no one around to do so. Someone's watching me. Whoever it is, I hope we could trust them. Let's head up to find Claire, Luna, and that girl. Hopefully they're okay. Leon nodded to himself and climbed up the ladder, following Claire's path to the parking garage above. Once upon the concrete ground, he too wandered over the shutter and examined the machine. Damn, no keycard, he muttered to himself. Then growling could be heard from behind him, snapped out of his thoughts. A zombie dog was slowly stalking towards him, snarling and growling. He went for his gun, but the dog was faster, leaping upon him and pinning him to the ground. His gun was knocked away as he tried to reach for it while the zombified dog attempted to shred his face. The dog was blown off of him as a figure intentionally wrapped in shadow approached. Usagi sighed in relief as the dog was forced off of her vessel. But who was that? He said as she was the one who lowered the ladder. Leon immediately reached for his gun and pointed in the direction of the person, aiming the gun back at him. Identify yourself, he called, steeling himself from the fire that was required. The person exited the shadows and entered the light, revealing herself as a woman with short bob hairstyle, black haircut, large sunglasses, and an overcoat. She pulled out a badge from her pocket. FBI, put down the gun, she commanded, and Leon paused for a moment before deciding to trust her and lower his weapon, so she didn't return. He picked himself up and dusted himself off. The woman then pointed her gun down and shot the dog again, which had moved and revealed it wasn't dead yet. She's good, but there's something about her that doesn't seem right, Usagi said to him. Sorry about that. Thanks for the help, Leon sheepishly said. Surprised you made it this far, officer, she openly mocked, giving him a naive fool and showing it with her words. Leon then ignored this. So you're FBI, huh? Can you tell me what's happening here? He then asked. Bet you'd like to know. Well, too bad that information's classified. You don't have the clearance, officer, she flatly stated without even looking at him. She then turned and started walking towards the cell block. Where are you going? Leon asked again, trying to get answers out of the woman. She seemed to be annoyed by this and turned to face him, angrily replying, Do yourself a favor. Stop asking questions and get the hell out of here, she snapped, turning and walking towards the cell block again. As she entered it, Leon called out to her, Hey, I'm not done talking to you yet. But she ignored him and proceeded. He followed her. However, when he got through the door, she was gone somehow. What the? How did she disappear so fast? Usagi gasped. Leon looked around and indeed appeared as if she had vanished, even though she had briefly 5 seconds before he entered after her. Where did she go? He wondered aloud. Exploring the cell block, he kept further and saw the inmates had locked up and all transformed into zombies. They must have been infected before being incarcerated, he replied to the final cell. He then saw the man who was not infected nor a zombie. In fact, he seemed to be nonchalantly smoking a cigarette as he sat on the bench. A survivor! Finally! Hopefully he'll have some kind of answer to all this. Usagi sighed in relief. As Leon approached the cell, the man's face seemed to lighten up when he heard Leon approaching the cell door. Hello? The man spoke as he got off his cot and walked towards the barred door. I can't believe it! A human! A real live human! Hello, human, he said excitedly. How long have you been here? Leon asked him. Long enough. We are the last ones alive? The man asked, before taking his drag of cigarette. No, there are survivors, Leon replied to him. Oh, that's good news. I guess. Unless, of course, Iron sent you. The man's smile seems to drop a bit upon hearing there were more people, and the thought of that fat bastard. "What's that supposed to mean?" Leon asked him, narrowing his eyes and regarding the man with suspicion. "He is the bastard that locked me up in here." The man growled a bit with anger. "Well, I'm sure he had a good reason," Leon retorted with a bit of venom in himself. "He did," the man replied, removing a cigarette from his mouth, dropping it to the floor and crushing it with his shoe. "I was about to blow the whistle on his dirty ass. I'd have done the same thing too." Then the man seemed to get the idea. "Hey, I'll make you a deal." Digging into his coat, he pulled out a garage pass. "Unlock the cell, and I'll give you this. There's no way out of the parking garage. Believe me." "I'm sorry, I can't do that. I have to talk to the chief first," Leon refused. "Look, we're both prisoners in this station, so either way we play nice and help each other out." Suddenly the two can hear something thumping loudly somewhere. "Shit, it's coming. Listen, man, you need me. Just get me the hell out of here," he shouted desperately at Leon as he backed up, when suddenly a giant arm smashed through the wall and grabbed the man by the face, dragging him up and then crushing his skull. His corpse slid down, and then his arm vanished. "Oh no!" Usagi cried out, before covering her eyes with the gory sight. At first, the fist had crushed his skull like a ripe watermelon. What was I supposed to do? I couldn't have opened the cell," Leon barely managed to say, almost shocked to speak. The woman reappeared, walking towards them. "That is just me. Put the gun down," the woman from earlier spoke as she approached the cell. "Damn," she cursed softly as she saw the dead man. "He was an informative for our investigation. He had information penetrating to what's going on. His name was Ben." "So you knew him? What was he supposed to inform you of?" "What investigation?" Leon asked, once again, asking too many questions for the woman's liking. "I told you to get out of here. You don't want to end up like Ben, do you?" She started walking away again, but a disgruntled Leon grabbed her arm and turned her around. "Hey, you can't just keep walking away from me," he said, a bit louder than he could have. He looked down at his hand and instinctively let go, but maintained his annoyed tone. "And I don't even know your name." Settling his tone a bit, he introduced himself. "I'm Leon S. Kennedy." The woman was silent for a moment, gouging him before speaking again. "Find a way out, Leon. Before it's too late, then we'll talk." She then turned again and began walking away. As she did so, she called back to him. "Name's Ida." He didn't even reply to her before she left again. "That woman, FBI agent or not, is more trouble than she's worth," he muttered to himself, much to Usagi's heartily agreed. "Something is off about her, like she's hiding of something." "Did you notice her stance? She was standoffish." "Yeah, like she knows more than she's willing to part with. I've got a feeling she knows what's really going on in the city, and I'm going to find out one way or another." He looked around and saw that the power panel with her cells had busted 2 missing sockets in its panel. "Guess we're going to have to find those power parts if we're going to get a pass." On the table next to the panel was a note from the repairman stating that one part could be found in the clock tower. There was also a rotary valve handle in some kind. "I think I can open some of these shutters with this." "Let's take it with us. I remember there was once a shutter on the 2nd floor, right above when we get to the landing to the left of us. Hopefully that would work." "Yeah, that shutter leads to the Chief Iron's office and the rooftop access. The 1st floor is storage and the interrogation room's on the 1st floor," Leon revealed, knowing his knowledge of the station's layout finally coming back in handy. "Let's head down and get those parts. Hopefully we'll run into Claire and Luna on the way back." Meanwhile, while Leon had rather a tense standoff with Ida, Claire had found her way back to the station after retrieving the key from the morgue. She then walked up back towards the break room. She recognized the corridor that she'd seen Elliot on with camera before he was brutally killed in front of her. She stepped into the break room for a moment to rest, switching on the lights. Aside from the dead officer's body, in the bunk room in the back was peaceful. She sat down on the table and took a moment to breathe. It had only been a few hours, but she'd been fighting for her life since she'd entered the Raccoon, so it felt like much longer. At first her body was aching and it was tired, but there was no way she could sleep in this hellhole. "Fuck, it feels like I've been running around forever, Ray." I'm so tired, Claire groaned a bit as she massaged her legs, trying to get the feeling back into them. Already they felt as if they'd been stuck with hundreds of hot needles, numb in pain. She was nothing less, as revealed to be in a water cooler what she was working. She refreshed herself with several cups of cold water, even splashing one all over her face to wake herself up. By the goddess, I needed that, she exclaimed, slumping down on her chair again. If only Shyla were there to support her descent. And Claire thought to herself. But she basked in the quiet calmness of the break room, where she was able to get her thoughts together and recenter herself. Hey Ray, when we get out of here, when I can start training with your powers? If I'm going to be a sailor soldier, I want to learn everything I can. Does this not already count as training? I'm a rather morbid way, I suppose. You're making the assumption to survive longer to escape. I consider myself an optimist, but this outback taking the chances of survival look bleak. I have fought in countless battles and survived countless more, but I've never faced anything like this. None of us have. Not even with the nega moon like this. And make no mistake, Claire, this is war. Claire nodded off in understanding from what she had so far heard from Ray. Their history was like a long battle written in the past, and tonight was no different. But tried to keep things off of mind, she spoke again. Ray, tell me about the others. What are they like? We already know Usagi. Well, arguably the deadliest of all is Hotaru, or Sailor Saturn. She is the youngest of us, barely even more than a child, but she still contains such incredible power. All of that negative energy. Her power is so immense, she can use it to literally split planets apart. Once in our history, Hotaru destroyed the Earth and rebuilt it to prevent the darkness from gaining control of it. Hotaru is not the deadliest of all reasons. She is, because of the sealed within her, is the ultimate evil we faced, and the monstrous beast called Mistress Nine. When Hotaru's emotions become destabilized, she runs the risk of releasing Mistress Nine and becoming possessed by her evil. Holy shit, that's terrifying. I'm glad that she's not awake yet. I hate to think about what would happen if something were to go wrong. Claire shivered before taking off the chill running down her spine. But what about the others besides her? Like Mercury, Jupiter, and all of them. Hold on, Hotaru is not her evil self. Just she is constantly fighting an inner battle for control of herself. Actually, Hotaru is generally pretty chill, although a bit quiet. She is also the soldier of death and rebirth, because she is capable of mass destruction. She also revived those who have fallen. Ray had finished summarizing. Next I will tell you about Michiru. She is the Sailor Neptune, of our soldier of water, and other things I can't quite remember. I have been asleep for a long time. I do remember that before she became a soldier, she was rather famous violinist and was quite well known. She had bonded with the star survivor Jill Valentine, who I sense is still somewhere in Raccoon, but far enough away I cannot sense where. Wait, what? Jill's got her? Claire exclaimed, but there was a happy tone to it. And one of her friends from Sailor Moon's spirit? There was free now, but she had heard that she was still in the city, but her location was unknown, quickly making her smile drop. Damn it, we need to find her somehow. If you're wondering, there's actually 5 of the 9 of us currently awake and bonded. You and I, Usagi and Leon, and the Free Stars members. Michiru is bonded with Jill, Ami is bonded with Rebecca, and Sonsona is bonded with your brother. Claire's jaw felt dropped. Chris is Sailor Pluto? What? What type of powers does he have now? She asked, slowly getting over the shock. Her brother was a sailor soldier now? Chris is a time wizard now. He possesses Sonsona's ability to freeze and rewind time. He used that power to save Jill twice now, and even saved his own life once. He needs to be careful though. Completely freezing time is severely weaken or even kill him. Where he is now though, I cannot say. Sonsona is out of my range. I cannot sense her. Whoa, he could be controlled time? He was up there when the power scale. It was to be argued that your brother is the strongest of us. But that would be discounting the sheer strength of Sailor Jupiter or Lita. She is by far the most physically strong of all of us. I dare say strength is par with your brother's pre-bond Setsuna. Her power can be rather horrifying at times. She often breaks things by accident, not knowing how to regulate her own strength. Oh, and she controls lightning, among other things. She's also a bit of a tomboy, like you. Intentionally, Lita wanted to bond it with your brother, but Satsana beat her to him. Sounds like a bit of tomboy stuff. We could probably get along, Claire giggled a bit, before the thought of her and Lita hanging out. To think her brother almost had her, instead of becoming the new soldier of time. I've mentioned Ami earlier. She is Sailor Mercury, a bookworm with the team's healer. She used to be a nurse before she became a soldier. It's fitting that Ami chose Rebecca as vessel, because I heard Rebecca was a STARS team medical expert. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Satsana was a biologist, and that she doesn't fit her controlled time. She's the Lord Kronos' daughter. Lord Kronos is the god of time. No frickin' way! She's essentially a demigoddess, Claire gasped, and once more her jaw dropped. Technically speaking, yes. Which technically speaking also makes your brother a demigod. The more you know, the both of them are charged with the protecting hourglass of time. Satsana is its keeper. I suppose that technically makes her a titan. Holy shit, I can't believe this. So her brother went from a normal human practically to a demigod in one night? Claire ran a hand through her hair. Her brother had a lot of explaining to do when she saw him again. Don't go getting jealous now, sweetie. All of us are technically demigods, except for Usagi, who is actually a princess. She's the daughter of our former queen, and therefore loyalty is fitting, and I discover my very close proximity to Leon. He is too actually descend from royalty. And as you and Chris, which you already know, you might not know what is fitting you technically the rightful queen of Abelian, but known as American Midwest. Thanks to legal technically, the city of Raccoon belongs to the kingdom of Abaddon, having to be built up upon the ruins of Power Stone. Technically, Raccoon is principally, and you are its rightful leader. Claire froze again. That's right. From what Wesker had told them about before, what he and Jill and Alana saw in the vault was one of Oblivion. The records for it had to be somewhere, so her and her brother had the rulers of the city. Should you survive escape this nightmare, you should be looking into the city overturned as its ruler. You are its queen, and you should be birthright into its own city. Moving on, I believe I have yet to mention Venus and Uranus. Mina is a Sailor Venus, as you might expect her name, is quite beautiful, and is quite fashion expert. She is also identical Usagi in appearance, but they have different hairstyles, and Mina is far less childish. I think I know a few people from college who have had Mina around, those girls at sororities. I swear, supplephobicus. Claire giggled once more. And finally, but last but not least, is Haruka. She is Sailor Uranus, and somewhat masculine appearance. She is easily able to pass for a man. She's the tallest of us, and is track field expert. So she is fast and is pretty good at park tour. If she's chasing you, don't think of running to the roof will save you. She'll follow you at the almost exact speed as off on ground. If she doesn't feel like flying, that is. All of us can fly, but all of us chose not to. That's really cool. If she's a track runner, then she's gotta be the fastest of the group, right? Claire asked, relaxing off how the conversation. Anything to take her mind off of what was going on around her. I don't really have anything more to say about this. I can't remember much more. Well, I can't wait to meet them all. Claire smiled now, eager to get the others together. There are still 4 of us that have not yet awakened. Venus, Uranus, Jupiter, and thankfully Saturn. She is potentially dangerous depending on who she chooses to bond with. There is still... I really hope that she'll be able to have someone who is strong enough to handle her. But depended on who she chooses, right? That is essentially what I just said, yes. Unfortunately, someone strong enough to support her evil inhabitant power is also a potential danger to us. Perhaps even more than someone weak-willed. Claire sighed and ran a hand through her hair. Well, we can just hope and pray whoever she chooses, they can handle her. She groaned a bit. Otherwise, we're fucked even more. Indeed, Hotaru is for a child exceptionally dangerous, but she also a valid member of the team. We miss her. Claire then gave her a comforting smile and tried to send a mental image of her patting on her shoulder in comfort. Don't worry, We'll see her again soon, she replied. I'm sure of it. Well, we can't stay here forever. It's time you got up and moving. Claire nodded before getting to her feet, making sure her guns were fully loaded before stepping out of the break room. She didn't want to get caught unawares so soon. Alright, where to next? We need to find a way to access the elevator in the parking garage. The control room is locked, but fortunately, we can open it via a key you have right now. We might also be able to access the floors of the station and reopening the shutter, where Officer Elliot was killed. That's right, Claire grinned, as she pulled out the said key from her pocket. But where do we go first? The control room? The shutter is just around the corner. You should open it first, so we likely have a way back in case if things get unpleasant. Then you can head for the elevator control room. Check out this room first. Alright, Claire nodded. Taking a quick look around the room, she pocketed some magnum bullets of her revolver, but she couldn't use them without a stronger frame of her gun. She also found a fuse with the label that read break room on it. After taking this, she began heading towards the shutter. She now had another way backtrack more easily in case then things went sideways. There were a few zombies here, so she dispatched them and used her grenade launcher, burning them with the flame rounds. She then replaced the fuse with the shutter open. The half-top of Elliot's body then came to life and attacked her, but she fired him without another flame round. Onward towards the elevator control room, going back towards the stairs to the garage, she passed through the darkness and re-entered the parking area, switching to a door by the exit shutter. There was an elevator in its control room. She unlocked the door with a diamond key in her possession and took a look inside. One of the lockers contained parts for her grenade launcher, including sights that shocked for her disability. She attached these and pulled the control lever, restoring power to the elevator. As she was about to enter, she spotted something much of her interest. Walking over to the wall, she picked up a brochure, and that crazy man's face from earlier intrigued, and she had to read of the article, and then learned his name was Brian Irons, and was the chief station's officer. That bastard is the police chief? She cursed herself, tossing the article aside. She then entered the elevator and went up. It stopped on the upper floor, meeting a small trance between the elevator and the corridor. It was pouring with rain, and even she hurried across. She was soaked before reaching the other side. The short corridor led to a secret door that opened up to a large, lavish office, decorated with all kinds of items, including the various taxidermied animals and portraits. Some were people, others were awards of some kind of description. This had to be Iron's office, and Jeanne must have come this far. Ugh, even this place is giving me the creepy perv vibes, Claire shuddered, rubbing her arms in the attempt to get rid of the goosebumps popping up on her skin. It certainly doesn't give off the vibe of the trustworthy man. Then again, to think that bastard is the police chief. No wonder Chris and Wesker didn't like him. And quite frankly, I wish he got run over by a bus earlier. He certainly appears to be acquired taste. Claire looked around the room. Aside from the machine pistol ammo, there were a series of letters on the disc entitled, "Mailed to the Chief." They appeared to be addressed from Irons, who someone called William Birkin, and talked about meetings between himself and the chief and the other individuals of power. The letters mention Umbrella, research on something called the G-Virus, and the payments to Irons' account. It seemed that the letters that someone in Umbrella, perhaps Birkin, was bribing Irons for the access to the sewers and to perform research, paying him great sums to look the other way. Son of a bitch. So that Umbrella's behind all this, Claire hissed, as she felt her anger rising a bit by bit. And Irons was bribed not to do a goddamn thing. Now it made sense that she heard STARS had been disbanded a month ago, and all the officers had been put on temporary leave. It was bullshit. A story cooked up by Irons to hide the involvement. Claire didn't know it, but this was information that Ida was looking for. The reason why Irons jailed Ben. The reporter had found out what Irons was up to. This damning evidence. Irons must have been in a hurry, if he was foolish enough to leave this behind. If I ever see him, Claire threatened, her eyes shimmering with red flames for a moment, and the symbol of Mars shining for a brief second on her forehead. Oh, and I have something special planned for him, if we ever get a good fortune of running into him again. I really hope we do. Claire growled, as she clenched and crushed the letters in her hand, which made it smoke for a bit from the heat she was generating. Easy, Claire. We might need these letters as evidence later. Don't burn them. The brunette fumed and stuffed them in her back. Looking around again, she saw another symbol on the door. This time it was a symbol of a heart. She did not have the key for the symbol, so perhaps it was somewhere in here. There was another door on the side of the right wall. No clue where it went, so she decided to try the door. She found herself in the hall, lined with the large taxidermied animals, one of which was a tiger. The hall ended at the other door. Beyond it was apparently a storage room, with shelves lined with models and more taxidermied animals. So many of these animals, either he worked on a side job or he was somewhat disturbed. There was also a gated room on the side, contained with 2 desks, one of which was a telephone trimmed to a gold lay, and the other was a shitload of cards, all garage passes. She needed one of those, but the gate was sealed by an electronic lock that was missing parts. Looks like we'll have to search the station for replacement power panel parts. Looking around at the shelves, there was a desk behind the front shelf, which was a picture frame on it of 2 lovers knelt and traversed in the shining heart. Looking around her hand, there was a key strapped to the back of it, shaped like a heart. Hold on, Claire fiddled around for a moment until she got the key loose. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Placing the picture back down where she found it, she pocketed the heart key. Now I can open any door with a heart on it. Making progress slowly. She slowly and ready went on the go. Claire nodded in agreement and went to where she first saw the first heart door. With Iron's office, she unlocked the door with the key and stepped down into the landing that led up to the 3rd floor and back down the 1st floor. Access to the rest of the 2nd floor was blocked off by a closed shutter, and there was no way to open it on the side. She thought about wherever to go up or down, and the shutter slowly opened. Bit by bit, on the opposite side, Leon was rolling a crank. Hey Claire, glad to see you're okay, he said, with a relieved smile as he finished opening the shutter, removing the crank and tossing it, no longer needing the use for it. Leon, Claire grinned, before she jogged over and hugged him tightly. Thank God you're okay. I lost the girl Sherry, and I think Luna went after her. Yeah, I lost her after we got separated early in the underground, and I haven't seen her either. I hope she's okay. He paused for a moment, hanging his head and worrying about Luna. However bad he felt, it felt worse for Usagi. Luna was her cat. Hopefully Luna will be... There you are! Luna came bounding up the stairs and right into Leon's arms. I found out where that man took Sherry. There's an orphanage not far from there. I managed to tail them until I got chased by the dogs outside, and they have been infected as well. Yeah, I noticed. I was attacked by one in the garage, but a woman named Ida saved me. She claimed to be an FBI agent, but I'm not entirely sure if she's telling the truth, Leon said in a reply. What makes you say that? Luna asked as she stepped out of his arms and onto the railing next to him. Her attitude was off. She seemed to be more concerned with following the unbeknownst to the objective, than rather telling me of what's going on, or what she knew anything. We met a reporter named Ben, who unfortunately was killed by something before we could get anything out of him. I just let that slip, and she was her contract for information about something that was going on in the city, but she refused to elaborate further before disappearing on me, she explained. Huh? That is odd. That's the earth that was hiding thing, I wonder? Claire asked, her face holding a bit of puzzlement. I don't know, but I heard Iron saying something about using Sherry, saying that once he got what he wanted, he'll set her free, Luna said grimly. I don't believe that for a second. We had a run-in with him. He's an asshole, Ray stated angrily. Wait, Chief Irons? What are you saying? I thought he was on our side, Leon replied, confused about what they were implying. No, he isn't. Claire handed him the letter she found, letting him read for himself. He's a damn mole. Leon read the printed emails inside. So Ben was right. Irons was dirty. I can't believe it. Yeah, and he's been taking bribes from Umbrella. Turns out that these assholes are responsible for what's going on. They paid Irons not to do a good thing against them. I wouldn't be surprised if he had something to do with Stars being disbanded. Claire nodded. Damn, so now what? If we can't trust him about this chief, then who the hell can we trust? Leon asked. I wish I knew the answer, you two. But for now, all we can do is trust ourselves. We need to get Sherry away from Irons somehow, Luna replied. Claire, you should focus on that. I'll see what I can learn from Ida, if I manage to find her again. I need that power parts to open Ben's cell and get his garage passed. I think I have one, but it's in the Everclock Tower. I guess I'll need the parts too if you're there, Leon stated. Yeah, there's a lot of garage passes near Iron's office, and I need to get that part open so I can grab one. How about we work together to get them? Claire nodded. If there are lots of passes in there, then it seems pointless for me to bother with the cell lock. I might be able to get one with you, so we'll need to get the part from the clock tower. Unfortunately, the balcony of the 3rd floor of the library is unusable and practically collapsed on me. We think we can use the bookcases to get across, but I need a jack handle to move the crank, holding up one of the cases. I'm not strong enough to move the bookcases alone, Leon answered her. Okay, let's find the handle. But suddenly Claire's eyes seemed to gaze over the part of Ray's powers begin to play up. What? You okay? Leon asked, his expression turning to worry. I see something headed our path. A large humanoid creature that is unholy determined to haunt us. A helicopter painted in black will bring it. There is more than one of these creatures killed a reporter. It will not stop until we're all dead. Fuck, I think our troubles just got worse, Claire cursed. Leon, we're in for a shitstorm if Ray is correct about what I'm seeing. I saw the creature partially in the cell block. It had a gray, wrinkled skin and appeared to be wearing some kind of jacket. I only saw its arm, Leon recounted. One of the creatures is already in the station. It is stalking the halls. I cannot see where. Claire's eyes went back to normal as her apparent promotion ended. She held her hand with right hand, groaning from the sight of the migraine. Fuck. Leon supported her, holding her up to stop her from falling over. Hey, take it easy. Are you alright? He asked, attempting to use some magic to comfort her, but his lack of bond with Usagi caused the pathetic attempt to fail miserably. Here, let me help. The brooch on his belt shined once more, and the migraine she was feeling would disappear, earning a sigh of relief from Ray's vessel. Better? Yeah, thanks, Usagi, Claire said with relief in her voice. Appreciate the help. I couldn't have done this on my own, Leon quietly admitted, silently praising Usagi for helping him without having to embarrass himself by asking. Usagi nodded with him with a small smile. Slowly but surely she could feel the bond slowly knitting together, but she didn't want to push it too much, yet at such a critical time like this, as the two needed to get to the same page. Well, maybe if you're right now, let's not hang around here. We should try and find something to get to the clock tower first. I think we should try and find looking at the storage room above us. Maybe we'll find something useful, Leon suggested. Right, let's go, she nodded. How about you take point? He nodded and led her up the stairs to the next floor. A bunch of lockers and boxes greeted them, along with 2 doors. They could hear the rain thumping down outside from the door to the left, and there was no sound coming from the door to the right. Checking the lockers revealed some ammo and flash grenades. Handy, Leon noted, before pushing open the right door. Entering a large room packed with shelves, some shuffling noises and occasional moans informed them of zombies that were in the room. Shit, like fucking cockroaches. Claire hissed at her left hand, burst into flames a little. Leon lowered her hand and shook his head. Not here. Too tight quarters. You'll set the room afire. Use your weapons, he said, loading his shotgun with a few shells and cocking it. Ah! The zombie jumped from behind and took a bite out of Claire's neck, shoving her into Leon, knocking him over, with Claire on top of him. Luna hissed and loudly and leapt at the zombie, fiercely swiped at it with her claws. Claire clutched her wound tightly and popped a few rounds into the zombie's head, killing it. Damn it! She cursed as she placed some gauze on her pack to patch the wound. More zombies came out of the darkness to feed them. While she was busy patching herself up, Leon was picking himself up. Luna seemed to have the first zombie occupied, and 2 more lunged for the cop and his civilian friend. I don't think so, Claire snapped as she unloaded the grenade into the 2 zombies, blowing them back. She then used her fire magic to cauterize the wound, despite the immense pain it put her through. Despite the one zombie blown apart, the second one was merely grazed. It didn't faze the undead creature and it shuffled forward again, while Claire was unloading another grenade round. Leon rolled forward and unloaded the buckshot to its face, completely destroying its head and blowing off part of its chest. "How bad is it?" he asked her, glancing over at Luna, who had clawed out the zombie's eyes and was now digging her claws through its rotting flesh. "Nothing I can't handle. I managed to get it to stop bleeding," Claire panted, and then pulled her hand away, revealing now a burnt mark. She then turned to Luna, who had finished off the zombie. "Nice going, Luna." "You two are alright?" Luna asked as she trotted over to them. It was obvious that she was trying to hold back throwing up, feeling the rotten flesh between her toes and stuck in her toe pads. "Come here, let me see if I can get you clean off," Leon said, spatting an empty spot on a shelf for Luna to jump on. Once she was up there, he attempted to get her a water spray from his fingers, concentrating on the flow, a little pep from Usagi, which she didn't say anything about, but helped him along slowly with a jet of water to begin to spray. He began to clean Luna's paws. "Much better," Luna said with a sigh of relief, as she flicked her paws to dry them off. "Thank you." He grinned in response. Then his eyes caught a sight of the large, old, rusty gear on the crate in the middle of the room, surrounded by shelves. "This looks like a part of the clock mechanism. Perhaps we can use this in the tower, and we should hurry. I don't want to run into that thing that killed Ben." What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.